is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are sports. We are Sun.
The Rays have hit their stride on the West Coast, sweeping the Angels in Anaheim and moving over the 500 mark. But tonight, Tampa Bay faces a tough task as the dynamic duo of King Felix and Robinson Cano await. Late night with the Rays from Seattle starts now. Tonight at Safeco Field in Seattle, Matt Moore will go to the mound for the Rays, trying to rebound after an outing against the Dodgers. And on the hill for the home team will be Felix Hernandez, who struggled his last time out, but the Rays have never beaten him here in this ballpark. Welcome. This is game one of the three-game series. The Rays continuing their West Coast swing. Tonight, the Rays against the Seattle Mariners. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to an evening of Rays baseball with Brian Anderson, Dwayne Stats. So good to have you with us. Not only are the Rays going to face Felix Hernandez, but they're going to run into Robinson Cano, who is the hottest hitter in baseball right now.
I mean, one word, scorching. That's Robinson Cano right now, coming off an American League Player of the Week award, where he went 16 out of 31 with 4 home runs and 9 runs driven in. Right now, no one can get this guy out, and he leads the American League, tied for the Major League lead with 12 home runs, and those 33 runs batted in, that leads Major League Baseball as well as the American League. This is a guy right now that you've got to highlight if you're the Rays pitching staff, and you say to yourself, and Jim Hickey says to them, this guy will not beat us. Anybody else in this lineup, we're going to let beat us, but Robinson Cano right now, you can't let that happen.
After a slow start, the Mariners are now leading the American League West by a half game. The Rays riding a 4-game winning streak coming into this one. It's late night with the Rays, and KK a big part of that. TK tells us all about it in a moment.
Kevin Kiermaier.
Kevin Kiermaier had a great childhood. We'll hear more about that as the evening progresses from Safeco Field in Seattle. In fact, we're going to have 2 nights worth here from Seattle on Kevin Kiermaier. He was that good during the course of today's interview. For Kiermaier, as most people know, the demographics have definitely skewed higher for the ladies since Kevin Kiermaier has been the regular center fielder for the Rays. And now Kiermaier does have a serious girlfriend. Unfortunately, a lot of hearts breaking around the Tampa Bay area. But we asked Kevin back in his single days how women would approach him when they saw him out in public.
I think a lot of people don't really know how to approach athletes at certain times, and would I just let people know, hey, I'm just a regular guy. You know, I can talk to you and have a conversation, but the people trying to break the ladies trying to break the ice was very entertaining. There'd be people coming to me just ask me, hey, excuse me, are you a fan of baseball? And I'd just be like, really? And they'd be like, I just want to know. I'll be like, just ask me what you want to ask me.
We will ask him plenty during the course of the evening. Late Night with the Rays, Kevin Kiermaier edition, part 1 of 2 tonight. We'll have our first pitch in just about 3.5 minutes, coming up next on Fox Sports Sun.
We welcome you back to Safeco Field in Seattle, where the Rays will take on the Seattle Mariners, opening this 3-game series. First meeting of the year between these two clubs. The Rays were 3-4 against the Seattle Ball Club a year ago, winning all 3 of those games here. They won 3 of 4. Tonight's starting lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. The Rays will have Logan Forsythe to lead it off, followed by the left-handed bat of Brad Miller, and then Evan Longoria. The DH is Corey Dickerson. Steven Souza Jr. in right field. Logan Morrison will play first base and hit 6. Brandon Geyer in there in left with Kevin Kiermaier in center. And Hank Conger will do the catching. He'll hit 9th.
Well, and I don't know how you look at this if you're a Rays fan, but taking them out tonight, For the Mariners, it's Felix Hernandez coming off of his worst start of the season, where he went 4 innings, gave up 9 hits, 8 runs, only 4 were earned, no walks, and just 1 strikeout. So you catch him after an outing like that, but is he going to have 2 in a row like that? We'll see.
So Logan Forsythe will be the first man to face him. A beautiful evening. The temperature in the mid-60s in Seattle under clear skies. Mariners start the day a half game in first place in the West, and the Rays run third in the East. And the first pitch of this game is a fastball for a strike. Forsythe, 3 of 13 in his career against Felix Hernandez, and Logan starts the evening 10th in the American League in hitting overall. He has been everything and more the Rays had hoped he would be in that leadoff spot. Lifted up the right side, foul. That's going to be out of play.
Well, this is what he's been able to do. Not only has he been productive, but when he gets himself into these tight spots, 0-2, you know, he can battle, he can foul pitches off, he can extend an at-bat, see more pitches. That helps him, that helps his teammates.
And again, he fouls it away.
Then you start to wonder when the changeup's going to come out, because Felix Hernandez has one of the best changeups in the game, and he loves to go to it with 2 strikes, especially against right-handed hitters.
That almost hit him.
That's where you got to spend, if you're Logan Forsythe, you got to spend another few hours hanging out with Brandon Guyer and figure out how to do it, because Brandon Guyer would be on first base right now.
Yeah, although Guyer says he's not doing that with intent.
Okay.
Fly ball into short right. It's Gutierrez out there to handle it. 1 away.
Well, let's go ahead and set that Seattle Mariner defense for you. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. In the outfield, left to right, we have NORICHIKA, AOKI, LEONYS, MARTE, and Franklin Gutierrez. Across the infield, third to first, Kyle Seager, KETEL, MARTE, Robinson Cano, and DAE-HO Lee. Behind the plate, we have Chris Iannetta. That was a mouthful, Dwayne.
Nicely done.
Well, I've got a cheat sheet here next to me.
Here's Brad Miller, the former Mariner. And he takes a breaking ball that stays wide. 1-0. Well, there you see the night and day difference from the start for Miller and what he's done in the last 10 games. 387 over the last week and a half at the plate.
Well, comfortable in your surroundings, and you finally settle in. The hard contact starts to fall in for you. And oh, by the way, he's played well out in the field too, and this was the big shot. This was after striking out in his first at bat, and a mistake out over the plate. He crushed that 2-run homer. The Rays were down a run, that put him up a run, and they would not look back.
And he takes another pitch wide there. It's 3-0. By the way, I do like the looks of that fuchsia. They call it pink, really fuchsia. I think they ought to break that out more often.
Sunday home games.
I think it'd be great. There's a strike.
Well, you have all that. I mean, look at that game yesterday. Everybody with their accessories, the shoes, the arm sleeves, the whole 9 yards for one game?
Yep.
You got to use it more than that.
It does seem to be a waste. And ball 4. There's a walk. Boy, I'll tell you, anytime you get on base against this guy, there's an air of excitement in the lineup, because as we know, the Rays have had a difficult time. They've never beaten them here. They're 0-6 in this park against him. 2-7 overall, including the perfect game he threw against the Rays here a few years ago. So Miller's aboard for Evan Longoria. A big cut by Evan. Strike one. Well, here's the breakout. 10 career starts at home against the Rays, and the Mariners have won all 10 of those. It's inside. 1. The Rays collectively on the active roster hitting a combined 177 against Hernandez with only one extra base hit. That's a triple picked up by Kevin Kiermaier. So with all of those numbers working against the Rays, you would think something good might happen for a change.
I am convinced. You know, I don't know. Did you mention the 0 ERA at home?
Yep.
And the 10-0
starts.
Yeah.
No runs.
If he wins this ball game, he takes over the franchise lead and wins from Jamie Moyer. Yeah. With all that, you jumble that all together, and it comes out as a Rays win, I think.
Yeah. I think that weighs more than the fact that he had a bad outing his last time.
There you go. I like the way you're thinking.
Well, the preponderance of the evidence is weighted against him.
Yeah.
Inside, it's 2-2.
Well, and if you've been paying attention to Fox Tracks, the one thing that you will notice about Felix Hernandez this season, his average fastball coming into this start has been about 90 miles an hour. That's down 5 or 6 miles an hour over the last 5 or 6 seasons. So he's dealing with as little velocity as he has ever had. Not the same power guy. And that's why you see, the walk to Miller, his career walk rate is the highest this year than it's ever been. Strikeout rate, the lowest it's ever been in his career.
Yeah, he's walked 19 now in 37 innings.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's a high rate.
That's right. And that's why that ERA, a lot of base runners on Felix Hernandez.
And he strikes out Longoria.
That's still a pitch. That's still a pitch right there that guys are going to have trouble with.
The Toyota inside look, and you see the velocity back in 05, then to 12, and now so far this year.
Well, and when you look at that changeup percentage in 2016 right here at 27.4, that goes up to over 60% against righties with 2 strikes. That's what Evan Longoria just got right there. So, he's almost reinventing himself on the fly, mixing his pitches better or trying to mix them better, moving the ball around the zone, understanding he can't just reach back and clip 95.
Now Corey Dickerson, the DH. He takes that first pitch wide. Dickerson with 6 home runs. And a little number that's foul, 1-1. We were talking about this on the ride over from the hotel to the ballpark today. There used to be a time when a pitcher, and Hernandez is only 30, but this is his 12th year. And you have pitchers who were in the big leagues that long, almost naturally would go through a change in their approach. I don't think we see that as often now as we used to in the game. And that's where Hernandez seems to be now.
Yeah, and the name that comes to mind that we talked about coming over here is Frank Tanana. Came into the league with the big plus fastball, and then by the time he was done, he was a finesse lefty.
Yep.
But he was able to make the transition. I think what makes it difficult for guys now with stuff is that they never learn how to pitch because they're never forced to. Great curveball right there. They just aren't forced to learn how to pitch. They just outstuff everybody. When the stuff goes away, they go away too.
And the reason that you think Felix Hernandez can do it is because he knows how to pitch.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And he still has the deception. He gives you that little turn in his motion to try to hide the ball a split second longer. And that changeup, that's going to play no matter what the velocity is because it stays in the zone so long before it bottoms out.
He's ahead of Dickerson. And Corey stays alive, fouling that one off to the left.
Yeah, how do you do that? You don't often show a replay of a foul ball, but we should right there. That's the changeup. In the zone, and then just that. That's all you're trying to do is fight to stay alive and see one more pitch.
Miller at first with 2 gone. It's a ball and 2 strikes on Corey Dickerson. Yeah, it's a battle of wits and location and changing speeds right from the very beginning now with Felix Hernandez. Runner goes, pitch inside, throw down, no, he's safe. Miller got in there. And we'll see if the Mariners want to challenge this one or not. Marte signaling that he thinks he had him. That's Scott Service, the new manager.
Well, let's look and see. Was he able to sneak the left hand in? Boy, that's close. And I think that that left hand of Brad Miller, look at him go outside. I think you just leave that one alone. That's a stolen base.
And ultimately, that's what the Mariners decide to do. So Miller picks up his 2nd stolen base of the year. Dickerson fouls it away.
And as you would expect, that stolen base comes with 2 outs. And that's the 4th stolen base in 6 attempts on Felix Hernandez with 2 outs. And it makes sense. You got a guy at first with 2. You might as well try to steal, get out there, get a runner in scoring position because runs are typically hard to come by.
And the worst thing you do is you get a new count for the hitter.
Yep.
High fly ball into center. Martine going back. He can carry. And he grabs it out there in center field. He covered a lot of ground on that ball as it continued to carry on him. No score. Let's take a look at the Rays starting lineup. We've done that already, and we'll take a look at the Seattle Mariners starting lineup.
I know you don't want to go through it.
Southern Ford dealers. Here we go. NORICHIKA going to lead it off and play left, followed by KETEL Marte. Robinson Cano hits third. Nelson Cruz, the DH. Franklin Gutierrez is in right field. Kyle Seager at third. Chris Iannetta will do the catching. DAE-HO Lee is at first base, and LEONYS Martin is the center fielder.
It was really good. I hoping that you were going to go NORICHIKA AOKI. That's what got it started off.
You did that first?
By the time I got to third base, though, I butchered Kyle Seager's name. And that's probably the easiest one in the lineup.
Well, here
Matt Moore's pitching.
Here's AOKI now. And Matt Moore making the start, his 7th of the year. First pitch is a strike. AOKI had struggled a bit, but has been swinging the bat well lately. And that mirrors what the Mariners have been doing this year. A 2-strike count.
Well, they're averaging about a half a run more per game than they did a year ago. That was the goal.
Just outside third.
And that's what scares you about AOKI. You don't worry about the power. You know, he's good base runner. You want to keep him off the bases, but the ability to slap the ball all over the field and find holes is what he's very, very good at.
And can't get it. Scooped by Miller, and the throw is late. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Just slapped the ball, a little infield hit. Got it by the mound, and that made it tough.
Well, like I said, he's a good base runner. He's got some speed. And just moves the ball around right here. Just slap it. As soon as that ball got by Matt Moore, you knew it was going to be trouble. This was your shot right there.
A runner at first, and here's a young man the Mariners are very high on. Marte, the shortstop, Ketel Marte, just 22 years old.
And he's already made a couple of mistakes right out of the gate with the pronunciation of his name and with his number. Because if he just went with how it's spelled and went KETEL and was number 1.
There's a shot into left. It's going to one-hop the wall. Into third goes AOKI, and the throw to second, but Marte's already there with the double. His 6th double of the year.
Well, and what was impressive about that shot was, you know, Matt Moore very good with the elevated fastball, and watch him go up and get it and stay on top of it. That's the pitch you see guys swing through and pop up, and he's able to center it and shoot it off the wall one hop. Big start here for the Mariners.
And that will get Robinson Cano to the plate, who is the American League Player of the Week with these imposing numbers, 16 of 31. So trouble already in the bottom of the first with nobody out.
And what you got to hope is that he used up his month's worth of hits last week, because that is an incredible week, over 500. Single-handedly beat the Astros the other day by himself.
Leads the league with 12 home runs. Strike one.
Well, you know he's going to be super aggressive in this at-bat. Sees a couple of potential run batted in sitting out there. This is when your sluggers will want to swing the bat.
Wide. 1-1. Cano takes ball 2 down. Off the plate. 2-1 on deck, the designated hitter, Nelson Cruz. And a wave and a miss.
Well, Matt Moore is not going to give in to Robinson Cano. We said it in the open. You do not let this guy beat you. And just because you fall behind him 2-1, you don't come screaming in there with a fastball catching a lot of plate. And that was a nice pitch. Got him back to even. And now you've put a little bit of doubt in Cano's mind and what you may go with here. So you could go with the fastball.
Foul, look out. AOKI jumping rope to get out of the way of that one. Taking his lead in foul territory down off third.
Got to have your head on a swivel. Well, you know what? We're going to go with the foul ball replays. Let's go with them. We'll see how close that was to AOKI.
Infield base hit for AOKI. Marte doubled. One hop the left field wall. And a cut and a miss. Very big strikeout on a good pitch there from Matt Moore to get Cano.
Boy, oh boy. You talk about second and third with Cano at the plate. The game couldn't have started out any worse for Matt Moore, but boy did he make some big pitches, and guess what? The slugger's zone did expand. He got him to swing and miss at 3 pitches that were all out of the zone and picked up a huge strikeout.
Well, here's another slugger in Nelson Cruz. Cruz has 5 home runs this year. He had 44 last year. Strike on the outside part of the plate.
You can see a trend developing already. The middle of this order, Cano and Cruz, off speed. They're going to see a lot of off speed.
In run-producing situations, those run producers get keyed up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's why I always contend that, you know, unless you're throwing 99 miles an hour, that the changeup is the best pitch in the postseason. Everybody is so amped up in the postseason, playing on the big stage. You pull out a good changeup, and you're going to get some guys screwing themselves into the ground.
Well, Moore's gone off speed, had him out in front. Fastball a little late. Now it's 0-2. And he strikes him out. Fastball, mid-90s with that one.
And he took it up and out of the zone away, and he put a little bit more on it. Literally. 95 on this pitch. You see where Conger was sitting. They didn't even want that pitch to be a strike. Just present it out there, and Cruz couldn't help himself. So
yeah,
you get the big boys expanding.
That's a great point to watch where Conger was set up.
Yeah, I mean, he was set up, you know.
He's almost in the on-deck circle.
Yep.
2 outs now with men at second and third. Here's Franklin Gutierrez. And a strike on the outside corner. He gets that call. Look at the setup of Conger.
Well, if you hit him in the left toe, it'd be a strike. Other than that, he's going to go for the chase. And you love when a catcher is active like that, telling you exactly where he wants the pitch. Oh,
yes.
You do not. I mean, listen, the way that he's pitched and come back and gotten Cano, you do not want one to slip by Conger, and he yanked that fastball. It's a nice block.
1-1. Two outs, 2 men on. One ball, 2 strikes. Kind of out in front of that one. Well, he's come a long way after that second and third with nobody out situation. 2 outs now and a 1-2 count on Gutierrez. Line drive down to third, caught by Longoria, and that will take care of that. Hit the ball very well, hit it hard right at Evan to to retire the Mariners in the first. They threaten and leave 2 men in scoring position. No score through 1. Back to late night with the Rays from Safeco Field in Seattle.
I mean, there is no point to that, right? Did you have anything to do with that, Dwayne? You look like you
had nothing. I was
just enjoying it.
I was enjoying it, spreading laughter throughout the land.
Hey, I love to laugh. I'm sorry.
Stephen Souza Jr.
Seems to be a healthy thing to do.
I think it's good for you psychologically, emotionally, and physically. It covers it all. Souza Jr. takes one down. The count is 1-1. Boy, a great job by Matt Moore to get out of the bottom of the first. And now we'll see what the Rays can do with Felix Hernandez.
You want to talk about a confidence boost with not only how he got out of it, but who he got out of it against.
Well, if he wasn't into the game, and we're not saying that he was not, but you put him in at second and third and the American League Player of the Week at the plate, yeah, you're in the game completely by that time.
Mentally invested.
Yes.
Now it matters.
Too close to Souza Jr. 2-2. Strikeout. Second strikeout for Felix Hernandez.
Well, let's relive it. A great at bat, getting CANO to chase, getting Nelson Cruz to chase, and getting Evan Longoria a quick glove down at third base.
Well, you start that way and you get out. What a lift it is for that pitcher.
And the team, really, you know, because they're sitting back going, well, we're in a little bit of a spot here, limit the damage. Then when there is no damage, pretty exciting.
There's Logan Morrison taking ball one. And a chop right side, CANO filling the hole with their defensive alignment, the shift on, and Morrison is the second out. So a strikeout and a ground out. And here is Brandon Guyer.
Brandon Guyer slowly but surely sneaking his way into the lineup a lot.
Well, he's earned playing time, that's for sure.
Yep.
Hitting .326. He's hit the baseball, and the baseball has hit him. He's been hit 9 times. Batting .326, 1 out of 3 against Felix Hernandez. So he's in there tonight. Foul ball takes the count to 1-1. Disappeared on him. 1-2.
Well, the changeup has been sharp, but guess what? So has that curveball. We've seen a number of good late-breaking sharp curveballs from Felix Hernandez, that being one of them.
Sharply foul. Up low. 2-2. Kevin Kiermaier would be next if Guyer could keep the inning going. Foul ball through the coaching box.
Well, if I'm Felix Hernandez right now, you see the take on the changeup on the ball that was down. Then he comes with the changeup in the zone, fouls it all. I go right back to that curveball.
And he fouls it. Guyer does. That pitch out over the plate. Still 2-2 to the Rays left fielder. Fly ball right center. Gutierrez going back. So the Rays are up and down in order. We're through an inning and a half, no score.
We do not have a score. Let's take a look at that Rays defense and see how it's going to line up here tonight. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. In the outfield left to right, we have Brandon Guyer, Kevin Kiermaier, and Steven Souza Jr. Across the infield, third to first, Evan Longoria, Brad Miller, Logan Forsythe, and Logan Morrison with Hank Conger behind the plate.
Kyle Seager will begin the bottom of the second, facing Matt Moore. Third baseman comes in with a 9-game hitting streak. And that's going to make it 10. Drops that soft liner into right.
Well, that's the thing. Kyle Seager has put together, well, like you mentioned, a 10-game hitting streak and how hot he's been, but it's been completely overshadowed by what Robinson Cano has done.
Well, here's Chris Iannetta. Iannetta, veteran catcher. Put away. Iannetta signed on after spending time with the Angels the last few years. Hit only 188 last year with the Angels. Hit 10 home runs. 224 right now. A couple of home runs for the Mariners, and he's ahead in the count 2-0. Jerry DiPoto, the general manager, taking over here with the idea of revamping the roster in a way that changes the type of baseball the Mariners play. And there's a long one to center, all the way back to the track. Kiermaier is going to have room. And so Iannetta gave it a ride, 2-0. But this again is a park we talked about, Angel Stadium in Anaheim, favoring the pitcher. Well, this park really is friendly to the pitcher.
That heavy northwest air. And you're right, it plays big. Right center field, 380 out to 401. 376 and 331 in left seems fair and normal, but you're right, it plays big.
Here's DAE-HO Lee. Pitch is down. Lee spent the first 11 years of his career in Korea and the last few years in Japan.
Well, Dwayne, you were talking about what the general manager, Jerry DiPoto, did here with this team. And, he less than 3 months on the job, he had already brought in 20 different players and jettisoned or traded away 24 players. You talk about an overhaul of an organization and a guy who had a plan, had earmarked where he wanted to make some changes and went out and did it.
Yeah, the one thing he did, it would seem, is build a roster that suits this ballpark.
Yes.
2-1.
And where you really see the difference is we talked about the fact that they're about a half a run more per game scoring, but the pitching staff. The pitching staff right now sits at their second in the American League in ERA. The starters third, the bullpen third. Overall second, so pitching getting the job done with a little bit more offense. They sit on top of the West.
3-1. Well, they got off to a little bit of a slow start. At one point, they were 2-6. And Lee was a big part of them beating Texas in extra innings to turn that around. And they won a game in 10 innings, 4-2. He had a big home run for them. And since then, it has been a different team. Seager will go to second on the walk to Lee. Here's LEONYS Martin. So 2 men on again, this time with 1 out, men at first and second. And Martine, formerly with the Texas Rangers. Pops it foul, out of play for a strike.
Well, this was one of the pickups, Dwayne, that you were talking about for this ballpark. You know, they have, we talk about Kiermaier and his runs saved. The entire Mariner outfield last year played at a minus 46 runs, and center field was a minus 26 runs.
Yeah, and he is a plus 15. Breaks the bat as it splinters off there.
It was the worst defensive unit in baseball, and the worst position in baseball was center field for the Seattle Mariners, and that's why, you know, they hope that LEONYS Martine will hit, but defensively and the ground that he can cover is what they were looking for.
And he also gives them a little more speed. The other area where offensively they struggled, they were not a good base running team. Second to home last year. They were last in all of baseball. So that's part of what their new general manager, Jerry DiPoto, analyzed and put a plan into action. And it's a different team. This one bounces in, and there will be no play. Seager alertly moves to third, and Lee follows into second base on a wild pitch, charged to Moore.
Well, Hank Conger made the block, and then I had a hard time finding this ball. Watch as it goes up off of him and bounces right off of Martine. By that time, it was too late for anything. Right back.
So again, the Mariners have men at second and third.
This time the Rays bring that infield in. Well, he's in a position to go for the strikeout. They want it up.
2-2. So for the second straight inning, Moore trying to pitch himself out of a spot. And a cut and a miss on the high fastball. Martine is out on strikes.
I'll tell you right now, Seattle Mariners have to be upset with themselves with these opportunities that they've given themselves. And I'll tell you what, Matt Moore just continues to make big pitches. It hasn't been pretty, but he's kept them off the scoreboard. And that's a big strikeout there, now 1 out away.
AOKI, who had the infield hit in the first that started that threat, now bats with 2 men on and 2 men out, 2 men in scoring position. The first pitch strike. He takes the fastball. Oh, 2 now. Matt Moore 1-1 with a 171 in 4 career starts against the Mariners. This is his 3rd start against them here in Safeco Field. Fly ball back into left. Guyer with plenty of room makes the catch. A threat. The Mariners again leave 2. No score through 2.
From Seattle, Rays and the Mariners in our late night with the Rays. Kevin Kiermaier talks about when he was a kid, had a great childhood. He ranked it a 10 out of 10. Said he played all the sports, basketball, baseball, football, but he in particular enjoyed flashlight tag.
We'd probably start around 8 o'clock and probably finish around 11:30. And one time we had the cops called on us for going through people's backyards because we used to play in a couple backyards that was like, and it was our buddies' houses. They were living next door neighbors. Other times we wanted to do our whole block though, which was huge, and we'd be chasing each other through our backyards. And yeah, we had the cops call us one time, and I remember I cried because the cop stopped me, and I asked him if he was going to arrest me, and he said no, but still the flashing lights scared me. So yeah.
So there you go, Kevin Kiermaier, the little flashlight tag, guys. We'll hear more from Kiermaier throughout the night on our late night with the Rays. Flashlight tag was always a lot of fun until the batteries ran out. Then you had to go home miss a round or two and then come back.
Well, he leads off here in the third with a count of 1-1. He's one guy who I would imagine it would be difficult to catch him even with the light from a flashlight.
We're thinking very similarly. I was going to say this tells you a lot about him as a ball player. The speed, the top end. If you're running from light, you got to fly, my man.
Yeah, from
right?
the first step.
Yeah, and that's what he does. This is all making sense. It's going to be a good night.
Foul out of play. Well, this is what happens. You fly across the country, 3 time zones. You get a couple of late night with the Rays under your belt. These things start to just develop organically.
There's late night with the Rays, and then there's late night with the Rays. A lot of bonding.
Important. Did he hold up? Yes, he did. Gabe Morales down at third. Says Kiermaier checked in time. Kevin is the only hitter in the Rays lineup with an extra base hit against Hernandez for his career. He has a triple off him. It has worked to count full. Kiermaier leading off the third inning. Hank Conger next. Then back around to the top of the order, Logan Forsythe. Ground ball left side. Seager's there to make the play. So it's 5-3, the third baseman Seager to lead. Tonight's Geico Great Moment, August 15th, 2012. Felix Hernandez threw the 23rd perfect game in Major League history as the Mariners and King Felix victimized the Rays 1-0.
You know, that was the game, Dwayne, that I can remember you and I looking at each other after the third or fourth inning and saying, this game could get weird. And it was early.
Conger rolls this one to the right side. Marte handles that one out of the shift. Yeah, you're absolutely right. He was that good that day. And, you know, you get a sense once in a while when a guy goes out there and everything is falling into place for him. 12 strikeouts. Couple of ground ball outs here in the third. We go to the top of the order. Forsythe. Drops a breaking ball in there. Logan lifted a fly ball into right to start this game. Now down 0-2. "15 starts for Felix Hernandez against the Rays. He is 7-2 lifetime against the Rays with a 190 earned run average. Oh, look out. Forsythe hit. Got him up around the shoulders was a little frightening there for a moment, but appears to have gotten him in the left shoulder.
Yeah, and it appears to have gotten him pretty good. Oh, yeah. Right in that back of that left shoulder, favoring it all the way down, right off the shoulder blade.
Talking it over with Jerry Lane down at first base and Rocco Baldelli. Yeah, that can stun you a little bit in that part of your upper back.
And you used to see guys get hit there a lot more, you know, because pitchers pitched in more, knocked guys down, brushback pitches. And a lot of those brushback pitches ended up in that rib cage, back of the arm.
Brad Miller takes the ball. Miller walked his first time and stole a base. Forsythe get out there with his lead. And it's 2-0 to Miller.
Showing good patience and a good eye at the plate here against Felix Hernandez.
Fouling a fastball. Brad Miller, the second round pick by the Mariners in 2011, and with the Mariners from 13 through 15 with a 248 average and 29 home runs for Seattle. Turn and a toss, and Forsythe is back in. Two and two to Miller.
That's been a big pitch for Felix here tonight. The curveball has been sharp. Here's another one off the table.
Two and two now. Ball three, and Forsythe that's going to alertly advance. Well, that pitch wound up in the dirt, and it's going to be a wild pitch. That's some heads-up base running.
It is. Well, you know, you come off with your secondary lead, you see a breaking ball, and then you see a breaking ball in the dirt. There you go. Read breaking ball in the dirt, and there's zero hesitation. That's a great job. And that left arm still hurts.
Piece of that one. Another breaking ball.
And you hope that doesn't linger too,
yeah,
because that front side is a hitter.
Yep. And that's why you think you get in that shoulder blade, there are areas in there where it tends to stay with you a little while, and you try to work that out. Ball four. The Rays will get another base runner. Miller walks for the second time with 2 outs, a hit batter, and now the walk. Scott Service, the new manager of the Mariners this year, and Kevin Cash in his second year with the Rays. Service, like Cash, really had never managed. A couple of former catchers. Now Longoria, ground ball backhanded to third. Seager's throw to first is in time. Lee kept his foot on the bag. And wait a minute, Cash comes out and wants a few moments here for the Rays to take a look at that play at first to see if Lee did indeed keep his foot on the bag when he took the throw.
I thought Seager was going to just run and touch third. Instead, ball into the glove, foot. Yeah, it looks to be pretty good.
And so the Rays leave 2. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. No score. So good news for the Rays. Logan Forsythe hit by a pitch in the top half of the inning and went out there and tried to get that thing loose. But it's an issue for him.
I mean, you could see that there's just no strength at all. I mean, that ball, he couldn't even squeeze his glove. Boy, that must have hit him in the wrong spot.
Yeah, you know, there are all kinds of things in there, but there's some nerves that go up in that area as well. And if any of us have ever had any little back issues, you know what that's like. And so let's hope that they can get some treatment on that right away and have no lingering effects. Tim Beckham is going to take over. So Beckham will loosen, and the Rays will remove Logan Forsythe from this lineup. And Matt Moore here in the 3rd will face Marte, Cano, and Cruz. So Beckham ready to go on the injury. Ketel Marte, the shortstop. Line to double into left field in the 1st. 1-0 the count.
Yeah, Dwayne, that was just as I was telling what he should have done. Ketel Marte.
It wasn't very. It wasn't proper of him.
That's why he
to
was
interrupt you.
That's why he was stranded. You don't do that in the middle of a good story.
Here's a foul ball. Go ahead.
You see the spelling of his name, Ketel. Okay, a young kid, perfect marketing opportunity. You change your number to 1, and then you go with Ketel, not Ketel. Ketel 1. Do you see the possibilities?
You know, you're a marketing genius.
Not really. You probably get in trouble for doing that, but what a great idea. You know, it was like Wade Davis, WD-40.
Yeah.
You know, and that played, and that got some, some traction. Ketel 1.
You are a marketeer extraordinaire. He lines this one fair, and it kicks back into the corner. Rolls along the bottom of the fence, picked up by Geyer, and it's another double for Marte. He has stung the ball twice tonight.
You're right, and that the first at bat, that elevated fastball, And then how about this one? Down and in, and he just ropes that, gets right around the baseball and rifles it down into the corner. Impressive young hitter.
Well, he adds life to the top of their order. He's a hustling player. And they've said he's the kind of guy gets the bat to the ball. Well, he certainly has done that twice tonight. He's in scoring position again for Robinson Cano. Twice tonight, Moore has pitched himself out of a spot. Another threat for Seattle in the third. And there's a first pitch strike. The Toyota keys to success. Robinson Cano, first in home runs, first in runs batted in, tied for first for game-winning runs batted in. A ball and a strike. Field corner on a carry. That's a foul ball back into the corner. A near miss there for Cano. Not a lot of foul territory down the lines here. When you get it back toward the corner, the stands jut out toward the line. Here's a look.
Wow, just enough slice.
That advances the count to 1-2. For the Mariners here, now in the first 3 innings, have done everything except score. And how close that was. Two. Side. Morrison will step on the bag. Over to third goes Marte. He's there with 1 out. So Cano on the bouncing ball advances the base runner.
Hey, you'd say that was a productive out, but you don't mind a productive out from Robinson Cano. What you don't want is the base hit RBI. And now you go to work on Nelson Cruz, who you struck out in his previous at bat.
Well, they got Cruz to chase. Struck him out on a fastball away. 35-year-old slugger. Fly ball center field. Kiermaier getting some momentum. He'll make the catch. The tag. Throw to the plate. It's a good throw and just not in time. Marte scores to make it 1-0. Wow. What a throw. He found himself in the proper position. Marte's speed just beat it.
Yeah, and no reason to hang your head. You could not have done this any better, Kevin Kiermaier. Perfect release, perfect throw, right on the money, and Marte slides wide and sneaks the left hand in the back door.
So Seattle gets the first run of the night on a sacrifice fly to center. Here's Gutierrez. He takes it for a ball. Well, you like the fire in Kiermaier, but you're absolutely right. You can't hang your head. He did everything perfectly.
And so did Marte.
Marte had enough speed to beat the play. 2-0. Upstairs. The Rays can't feel good about giving up a run, but if you can feel good, it was on that attempt by Kiermaier. That was impressive. And a walk on 4 pitches to Franklin Gutierrez.
It's kind of been a theme here tonight with Matt Moore. For as well as he's pitched in trouble, there have been some lapses in command. Seemingly out of nowhere. Commanding the ball good around the zone, then all of a sudden missed badly.
And you can see the ratio of strikes and non-strikes. There's Kyle Seager. Takes that for a ball. Seager extending a hitting streak to 10 games with a base hit in the 2nd inning. Fly ball, center field. Kiermaier is there and makes the catch. A run scores following the leadoff double. Through 3, 1-0 Seattle. Is brought to you by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. By Bright House Networks. By Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. And by your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. Late night with the Rays from Seattle. Opening game of the 3-game series. And on to the 4th inning we go.
I liked it better on Todd. I just look creepy.
It's a nice contrast.
Excitable Todd with that mustache is the greatest one to date.
Corey Dickerson sends a high fly ball deep opposite field. That one's going to get out. Home run to the opposite field by Corey Dickerson. On the first pitch in the 4th inning, Dickerson hits his 7th home run of the year to tie this game at 1. That's what power can do for you.
Power to all fields. No less. You know, Dickerson had a shot to center on a pitch that was way down in the zone in his first at-bat. He gets full extension here and a lot of height with this ball out to left field, and AOKI back. A little bit short.
The fences are 8 feet high here. And now here's Souza Jr. skying one to left center field. And Martin comes over to make the catch. He hit that ball a mile high and didn't miss it by much.
If you could hear his little rebel yell and see him running off the field when he made contact, that was a hanging breaking ball that Souza Jr. just missed destroying. And you're right, that was a mile high. Another little bit further up on that baseball, and wow, he just missed it.
Now Logan Morrison takes a strike. So 2 pitches now, 3 pitches into the inning. The Rays have a run, 1 out, and a strike the count on Logan Morrison. Hit off the plate. That was the 4th home run given up by Felix Hernandez this year in just under 40 innings. Two and one. Morrison grounded out to CANO. The Mariners putting the shift on against him. Two and two. Logan Morrison hit 17 home runs playing for the Mariners last year. Ground ball up the middle. There's a base hit into center, and Morrison is aboard. So a couple of hits in the inning, a home run, and now a 1-out single. Hey, follow Rays Baseball live with the MLB.com and BAT app. You can stay up to the moment on any moment with Game Day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com and BAT, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. Here's Brandon Guyer. Guyer shortens on the bat. That's a strike. Guyer getting a start in left field. His 14th start of the year. So he started not quite half the Rays games this season. And he's hit by that pitch. So he'll head to first. Guyer hit by a pitch for the 10th time already this year. And the second batter Hernandez has hit tonight.
Yeah, and that one there, Brandon Guyer so adept at not giving up ground, but this one was tracking him. If he wanted to get out of the way of this one, there was not going to be a chance. It just wildly took off, and he just takes it on the backside.
Now it's Kevin Kiermaier. An opportunity developing for the Rays in the 4th inning. The pitch is a strike. Guyer alone has been hit more times than 15 teams in the league. Ground ball, second. CANO finally scoops it to second. They get the force there. He had trouble, And of course, with Kiermaier going down the line, you'd better do everything perfectly to have a chance. And they just get the force at second.
Yeah, if he's able to come up with that clean, they do get the double play more than likely, because it was hit so hard by Kevin Kiermaier. Got to him in a hurry, but as soon as it pops out, forget it. And that's a tough flip too. When you're flipping, you know, from your glove that close to second base, Marte's got to be on alert and have quick hands himself.
So first and third for the Rays. Kiermaier now at first. Morrison at third. Hank Conger in the batter's box. Conger goes after the first one, lofts a high fly ball left side. Aoki into foul territory. It's there, making the catch, and the Rays leave two, but they get a leadoff home run from Corey Dickerson, his 7th home run of the year. And the Rays and the Mariners are all tied 1-1 going into the bottom of the 4th. The bottom of the 4th inning. A greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. Bryce Harper, how about yesterday against the Cubs? 7 plate appearances, 6 walks, 3 of which were intentional, and he was hit by a pitch once.
Well, who would you think would be behind that? There would be 2 names that would come up.
Yeah, one is Joe, and the other is Madden.
I was going to go with Showalter.
Well,
he may have do something like that too.
That's right.
But yeah, that was Joe Madden. Of course, that was hotly debated all over today, which I'm sure Joe got a kick out of.
Ooh, Chris Iannetta up here, and Conger took that pitch. Conger was hit by the pitch. The count is 1-1. That's a strike.
Come on.
It's now 1-2. Two. Fly ball to left, and Geyer's there to catch it for the out. Let's check in now with Todd Callis to get a little update on Logan Forsythe. What do you know, Todd?
Well, Dwayne, when Logan left the game after being hit by a pitch at the top of the 3rd, we just got word from the Rays clubhouse that he has a bruised left shoulder that forced him out of the game. So Logan leaves the game with a bruised left shoulder, guys.
Well, you would imagine that he would certainly have a bruise there, and you hope that that's the extent of it, because he had some mobility issues and maybe issues of strength and feeling. And that altogether is not that unusual to be hit like that and have those kinds of reactions, but you hate to see him out of the lineup. Oh, a base hit against the shift, and really against it. Lee hit that one between Morrison and the line and has a base hit to the opposite field.
On purpose. You can see Lee really change his swing to go that way. Watch this. Just watch the swing. He sees all the open field, gets a pitch that's out there, lets it get into the zone, and just slaps it that way, takes his base hit.
Second time he's been on after walking in the second. He has a base hit in the fourth. There's Martine, the center fielder. And he jabs at the pitch. That's a strike.
But that's where you've got to pull off of that. I understand the idea that running bunt, maybe pulling up the line with you as you're heading out of the box. But you see that ball out of the zone, there's no reason to stab at it. Not going to reach it.
One and one. Martine can cover ground in center. There's a very good arm. Bounds it. With the addition of Martine, he really becomes the fastest base runner the Mariners have. So he helps them defensively, and they're certainly expecting him to lead the way, to go first to third and second to home more.
Well, just, you start to construct the case. This is a ballpark that favors pitching, and if you are unable to take the extra base and you're a station-to-station baseball team in a park that favors pitchers, you have no shot.
Yeah, you're in the wrong park. Count is full on Martine. Ball game tied 1-1. Bottom of the fourth. Full count pitch. The fastball is fouled. You can see the location of that pitch. Up and in on the strike zone to the left-handed hitter, and he just got a piece of it. Martine hit .219 for Texas last year. Actually hit a little better against left-handed pitching than right-handed pitching. And he fouls it back to .229 against lefties and .213 against righties. The eighth pitch of the at-bat, and he gets him, strikes him out. Two gone here in the fourth inning. We'll go back around to the top of the order. From $2 Kids Day to $2 Dogs, Senior Special to Student Rush, the Rays have something for everyone each night of the week. Check out these great specials at RaysBaseball.com/specials or call 888-FAN-RAYS now. AOKI up there, and the pitch to him is a strike. His base hit, an infield hit, came in the first inning. Bouncer foul, 0-2. Aoki with the Giants hit .287 last year. And another one of these left-handed hitters who hit better against lefties than right-handers a year ago. For average, not for slugging. And had a better average. Blocked by Conger. 1-2. Red Sox at home beat Oakland earlier 14-7. Here the Rays and the Mariners are tied 1-1 in the bottom of the fourth. The Baltimore game postponed. Ground ball toward the middle. Beckham gets rid of the ball just in time to make the play at second on the toss to Miller. Beckham had a little trouble unloading it, but he gets Lee, who is not fleet of foot, and a good thing for the Rays. We're headed into the fifth inning, tied 1-1.
Baseball all tied at 1. More late night with the Rays, Kevin Kiermaier style tonight and tomorrow. We gave him some and/or questions, and this one is: would you rather be able to read people's minds or be invisible?
I think I'd rather be invisible. I want to know what everyone else was thinking, because I think there could be a lot of positives and negatives to that, and so I think, just because I think that would be really freaky, I would have to go with being invisible, which would be very weird as well. But I wouldn't like to read people's minds. That's too much for me.
There you go, guys. Rather be invisible.
Smart. I like it. It is. That would be creepy to know what people were thinking. You'd be like, could you imagine?
Well, think of the tags he could avoid stealing bases if he were invisible.
Wow, that would be a competitive advantage. I don't know if they would allow that.
Hey, speaking of tags, we have to get into something here in a moment as Tim Beckham bats for the first time tonight. Mike Blowers from the Mariners broadcast team stopped in just to say hello and really offer us kind of a conundrum of a situation involving the Mariners run, and it's an interesting riddle, and I don't know that anyone has the answer to that, but you know, they scored that run in the third inning. Marte came across. It was a close play, and the throw by Kiermaier was a great throw, but Beckham's out on strikes for the first out in the fifth. But Marte just got the backside of the plate, and Mike Blauer's question was this. There he comes in, touches the plate. Umpire calls him safe. But what if his hand had not touched the plate? It had been maybe a half an inch off the plate, and the umpire calls him safe. He gets up, runs to the dugout. Now Kevin Cash wants to take a look at that play at the plate, and they determine the ground ball to third from Miller, and Seager makes that play. So a couple of quick outs. He's never tagged the plate. Umpire calls him safe. The Rays come out to have that reviewed or challenged, that play, and they say, hey, he didn't tag the plate. What happens to him? That's pretty interesting.
I'm giving you the same answer I gave him.
Yeah, well, me too. A couple of blank stares looking at each other. This pitch is down to Longoria.
Yeah, that is a tremendous.
You know, if
scenario.
a runner vacates the plate or a base, he can be out. But he would have vacated the plate because the umpire called him safe.
Right.
So you wouldn't think that would apply.
And when you vacate a base, it makes it, gives you the thought that you can actually occupy that base, which you can't occupy home much as you'd like to. You go there and then you run off.
So it's 2-1 now to Longoria.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a great question.
It is.
I mean, we're confused enough, and Blowers comes in here and drops that on us.
Too much time in that other booth to come up with that one, because no one has an answer. And he, you have thoughts, but you don't know. I mean, that's something you got to call New York and find out.
I was always impressed with him. I saw him break in with the Yankees in New York, an impressive young man. And and he's really impressed both of us tonight.
Yes, he has.
Close. Wow, very close there, and it's a full count on Longoria. Pitch in. 1-1 tie. There's a fly ball into center field. Martin turns around, goes to the track. That baby's gone. Home run for Evan Longoria. 3-2 pitch, and Longoria hits it out to center. Second home run of the night for the Rays off Felix Hernandez, and this one will give the Rays a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, no cheapy home runs here at Safeco Field, and when you start talking about getting one out to center field, dead center field, you know it was well struck. Full extension on that swing, and tremendous carry.
Rays lead it 2-1 on Evans' home run. Here's Corey Dickerson, whose home run tied the game in the fourth. So there's a strike. Well, we mentioned earlier the Rays coming into this game. The Rays' current hitters had a grand total of 1 extra base hit lifetime off Felix Hernandez. CANO makes the play on this one. They have 2 extra base hits tonight, both home runs. And the home run here in the 5th inning will give the Rays the lead. And here's another look. We're in the middle of the 5th inning. 2-1 Tampa Bay. home run, giving the Rays a 2-1 lead. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. KETEL Marte leads it off. He's 2 for 2 tonight with a couple of 2 base hits. First pitch is a strike. And the bunt this time foul. 0-2. Yeah, you like Marte. He has some life in him. He was impressive last year for this club, and just under 60 games he had 283. He came up at the end of July. Ground ball over the mound, tough play. Scoop by Beckham, throw to first, safe. Boy, that's tough to get him. Bounding ball softly hit over the mound.
Well, just like AOKI to lead the ball game off, you get that ball over the head of Matt Moore, and it's going to be a tough play for the Rays middle infield because of the speed of Marte. Just that little chopper, can't get to it. Can't get him.
Well, this is the 4th time in 5 innings the Mariners have put the leadoff man on base tonight. Here's Robinson Cano. Keeping an eye on Marte. Dana Evelyn up in the bullpen. Ground ball, got a great stop by Longoria. Throw to first, and it's going to stay down. Get by Morrison, and over to third goes Marte. Oh, what a stop at third base by Longoria. And the throw to first stayed down. There was no hop.
Well, that's what allowed it to get by Logan Morrison. A heck of a beginning to this play. Cano just slicing that ball. What a great dive and a stop. A tough angle throw. And you're right, Logan Morrison expecting that ball to come up and watch it hit and stay down. You wonder if it got the lip, got the cutout right there. No, it bounded right by him.
Well, a tough break there after a great stop. Men at first and third, nobody out now. Here's Nelson Cruz, and a big chopper foul for a strike.
Yeah, it was almost like, you know, you get these cool nights, a little bit of dew forms on the grass, the ball just kind of skipped right by Morrison. Evan Longoria is still not happy with how that turned out.
Inside off the plate, 1-1. Another chopper foul, 1-2. So a base hit by Marte, that infield hit to start it, and then Cano reached on what turns out to be a base hit, and the move to third on what will be an error charged to Longoria. His second error of the year. Boy, a great stop and a tough break when that throw stayed down, and Morrison got no hop at all. Pop foul, that's carrying into the seats. 1-2. Moore has been pitching with men on base all night, and in a tough spot again. First and third, nobody out in the fifth. Gutierrez on deck. Seager behind him. hit, line foul into the seats.
And Nelson Cruz getting wise to the elevated fastball by Matt Moore. He went right up after that one, and it was just a little bit too quick. And you wonder here, will Matt Moore come right back with something down below the zone again? Maybe that curveball. You see how he's been working him up and then down, up, down. Changing eye levels, changing speeds.
The 1-2, and he got him. Boy, had him out in front. That pitch fading. And a great pitch by Moore to get what he needed, a strikeout of Cruz.
Boy, that's been the story of the night for Matt Moore. This was the changeup, but it was down below the zone. Get Nelson Cruz to expand once again. He's had base runners all night. These base runners have been in scoring position all night, and he has come up with the strikeouts when he's needed them. Big strikeouts.
Franklin Gutierrez, who's lined to third and has walked.
Yeah, I've listened to you say his name now like 4 or 5 times. Are you rolling your R's?
That's how he does it.
You're rolling your R's. Not everybody can do that. It's pretty good.
Pitch is a strike. It's not the only thing I can roll. 2-3-1 for the Rays, 1-7-0 for the Mariners.
It's for later. It's the late night with the Rays.
Gotcha. Over to first. CANO is back in. Now 0-2. Julieta's over that pitch. So another good delivery from Matt Moore. Kyle Seager is on deck. Up and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a nice stop there by Conger. Would not go for that one. The Seattle right fielder. Gutierrez came back last year and played just under 60 games, hit 15 home runs, hit over 290. He'd had some health issues and a form of arthritis that was a problem. Oh, and this one bounding away. The run's going to score. Standing Marte crosses the plate, and it's 2-2.
That's a crummy way for that run to score. Matt Moore's been able to pitch out of these jams. Now, I guess you put yourself into enough of these situations, something bad is bound to happen. And here it is, a breaking ball down and in that just kind of wrapped up the body of Hank Conger and shot out towards the right. See how quickly he had to dive over there. That ball wrapped around Gutierrez there.
So it's 2-2, 3-2 the count. CANO moving to second. And there's ball 4. So base runner Heading to first and second with one out. Jim Hickey trots to the mound. Kyle Seager is going to be the hitter, and the Rays have a big conference on the mound. Rays players need your support to get to the 2016 MLB All-Star Game. Go to RaysBaseball.com/vote to submit your ballot for all your favorite Rays players, including Kiermaier, Souza, Longoria, Dickerson, and Forsythe. You can vote up to 5 times every day. Vote early, vote often, vote Rays. Go to RaysBaseball.com/vote now. Seager extended his hitting string to 10 games in the second inning. He actually hit left-handers better last year than right-handers. Had not hit well at all so far this year against lefties, under 200, but got a base hit in the second off more, and he's been hot. First pitch is a strike. Seager 1 for 2 tonight. Pitch up, and he fouls it back. Went up out of the zone for that one. Mariners got a run on a sacrifice fly in the third and a run in the fifth on a wild pitch. Conger and Miller in on the conversation with Matt Moore.
And typically that will have to do with the signs being used, and that's why Brad Miller wants to know, middle infielders want to know what the signs are so that they're in the loop.
Two strikes now. And a ground ball foul. Holds the count right there. Again, the 2-strike pitch from Matt Moore. Seager fouls the fastball back. On deck, Chris Iannetta, the catcher. From this one, turning away from that pitch up and in.
Wow, that would have been a disaster to hit him 0-2 and then load the bases, and it came that close. Well, the fact that it didn't hit him now sets up the breaking ball away if you want to go that route.
And a cut and a miss. Well, he came right back down the middle and strikes him out.
It didn't set that pitch up, but it was effective nonetheless. Just a challenge heater by Matt Moore right down the middle of the plate, about thigh high, and he gets him.
Chris Iannetta. A couple of fly ball outs tonight, one deep to center. Takes the pitch too high. Marte has scored. Cano's now at second. Gutierrez is the runner at first. Baseball down 2-0. Mariners have had runners on base in every inning. The pitch covered up. It's 3-0. Conger on top of that pitch. Lee on deck. DAE-HO Lee. But foul. Maeda had the green light there, 3-0. After hitting a couple of deep fly balls, he was out in front of that one. 2 runs, 7 hits for Seattle. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Rays. Now the 3-1. And he loses him. That will load the bases. Bases loaded, Lee due up. And Kevin Cash heads to the mound. Pitching change coming. Baseball on Fox Sports Sun is brought to you by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by your Southern Chevy dealers. Opening game of the series in Seattle, the Rays and the Mariners in the bottom of the 5th inning. Late night with the Rays from Safeco Field. Mariners have the bases loaded. They scored the tying run on a wild pitch. Matt Moore out after 4 2/3, leaving the bases loaded. And Dana Evelyn, the veteran lefty, will take over from Matt. The line so far, 98 pitches, 2 runs, responsible for 3 on as he leaves. DAE-HO Lee. The first pitch from Evelyn is a ball. Lee with 4 home runs. 10th appearance for Evelyn.
This is an interesting move to say the least, bringing in the lefty Evelyn to face Lee.
1-1.
Probably the last guy that would come to your mind in this situation. First guy out of the bullpen.
2 of his 4 home runs off lefties. 5 of 23 against left-handed pitching. He takes that one for ball 2.
Well, you got to wonder if a couple of the righties out in that pen are unavailable tonight. Column A, you got to wonder about him because of his workload. We talked about that yesterday.
Yep. And a strike.
Although you wouldn't expect to see column A in here anyway.
No.
Not at this point. But something going on.
Two. And a soft liner to second, caught by Beckham. Rays get out of that, leaving the bases loaded. A run scored. This game tied 2-2. Matt Moore gives the Rays 4 2/3 tonight and was in trouble all evening. In fact, through the first 5 innings, the Mariners have stranded 9 men. Corey Dickerson got the Rays on the board in the 4th inning to tie this game. Dickerson's 7th home run of the year, and Evan Longoria connected in the 5th. That made it 2-1. But trouble in the bottom of the 5th led to a run for the Mariners, and this game is all even at the end of 5, 2-2. Here's Steven Souza Jr. leading off and hitting this one on the ground to Marte. And Souza Jr. is out on 1 pitch.
Well, the Rays fortunate at this point to be tied in the 6th inning. The Mariners have left 9 runners on base through the first 5. That's tough to do.
Yeah, it's a tightrope walk for the Rays, and Matt Moore most of the evening, and Dana Evelyn came on to leave the bases loaded, getting Lee on the soft liner to second. Here's Logan Morrison. He takes the ball. Morrison had a base hit in the 4th. The Rays have left 5 men on base through the first 5. They've left 3 of those 5 runners in scoring position. 2-0 the count on Logan. A 2-1 count. It's Brandon Geyer on deck. 2. Hernandez had given up 3 home runs in just under 37 innings coming into this game. He's given up 2 home runs in 5 innings tonight. Oh, full count. Morrison is out on strikes. So 2 gone. Duke Energy proud to support the Rays and Tampa Bay area veterans. For every game the Rays win, Duke Energy donates $1,000 to area agencies working in support of our veterans. Duke Energy, powering Florida with more than just energy, supporting our veterans and local charities too. Brandon Guyer sends a fly ball into left. That's going to be over the head of AOKI. He'll come back onto the grass to get it. It's a double for Guyer. And so just like that, with 2 outs, the Rays have a man in scoring position on Brandon Guyer's 2nd double of the year.
Yeah, that ball was poked by Brandon. A hanging breaking ball out over the plate. And he's able to drop it over the head of AOKI and give the Rays a chance here with 2 outs. Well, that just hung, stayed middle of the plate, and he turned on it. We got a chance.
Well, Kevin Kiermaier is the hitter. First pitch is in for a strike. Kevin looking for his first hit of the night. He's now 2 for 9 in his career against Felix Hernandez. One of those hits was a triple. One and one. Mariners got a run in the 3rd on the Cruz sacrifice fly. Dickerson hit a home run in the 4th for the Rays. Longoria gave him a 2-1 lead with a home run in the 5th. And then the wild pitch scored Marte with the 2nd run of the night in the bottom of the 5th for the Mariners. A ball low to Kiermaier. Rays 0 for 4 tonight with men in scoring position. The Mariners 0 for 9. Both these teams coming in around 220 with runners in scoring position for the year so far. Now snap throw back to 2nd, and Guyer is picked off. Guyer got off too far, couldn't get back. Iannetta found him back there and picked him off with a peg down to Marte.
Boy, heads up, quick throw, and Marte waiting right there for him. He gets the tag on the back of that arm. Wow.
So the Rays lose an opportunity, still tied at 2. half of the 6th inning. Now Martine leads off the bottom against Dana Evelyn. And he runs up out of the batter's box to take that pitch. A ball, no strikes.
That's like a softball move, that running swing.
Martine 0 for 2 tonight with a couple strikeouts. And he checked in time on this one. There's ball 3 to Martine. 4 2/3 for Matt Moore. He made 98 pitches, 61 strikes, top of the order on deck for Seattle. And a miss inside off the plate. It's the 5th walk given up by Rays pitching tonight. Martine aboard. Well, here's what's coming up tomorrow on Rays Live. The pregame show is presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. A full feature on the future Hall of Famer Ken Griffey Jr. Drew Smyly on the mound for the Rays, and we will hear from him as well. Top of the order, AOKI. AOKI is 1 for 3 with a base hit, an infield single in the first. There's a strike. Steve Geltz up in the bullpen. Well, the Mariners have had the leadoff man on base in 5 of the 6 innings. And again here in the 6th, Martine, good speed. Runner goes. Pitch is a strike, and there's no throw. Conger trying to get it out of the mitt, and it fell to his feet. A stolen base for Martine. He's 6 of 7 this year.
Well, that's something the Rays have not had to deal with. This was the 13th game without a stolen base against them after opposing base stealers started the year 15 out of 15. They've been 0 for 4 and hadn't stolen a base in 2 weeks.
Well, Martine steals his way into scoring position. It's wide to AOKI.
Well, on a left-hander, you're going to go on first movement. Evelyn allowed a pretty big jump there, and then the ball coming out of Conger's hand. A strikeout here.
2-2.
Having trouble finding the strike zone. Been some wide misses here by Dana.
He walked Martine on 4 pitches. 2-2 to the top of the order now. AOKI stays in there with that foul ball out of play. Rays coming into this game a game over 500. They won 4 in a row. It's been a battle tonight. AOKI off his front foot, fouls it again. We'll be with you tomorrow at 9:30. The Rays and the Mariners meet in the middle game of this series. Takes it up and in. And That'll send the count all the way out to 3-2. Again, a foul ball, so he's extended this at bat to 8 pitches.
Yeah, and that's what's frustrating. The pitches that are in the zone have some good bite on the breaking ball. A very good bat control by AOKI, and he's able to foul those tough pitches off and extend the at bat.
Upstairs. Well, a couple of walks. 2 men on with nobody out. Marte's going to be the hitter. Conger goes to the mound. And Kevin Cash is headed out there as well. 2 on, nobody out in the 6th inning. And Kevin Cash out to make the pitching change.
Tonight with the Rays with Kevin Kiermaier. During the course of our interview today, Steven Souza Jr. took over and was trying to find out from Kevin who his best buddy is in the outfield.
When you're out there in center field and you look over to your left, do you realize, man, I'm really lucky to play out here?
Yeah, I mean, when Brandon Guyer's out there and, you know, he's wearing that number 5 jersey, it's just, honestly, just powerful.
So, I mean, if Brandon Guyer's not just so happened to be playing that day, what other players could you be excited about out in center field?
Well, I mean, Corey Dickerson, he does great things out there. Not
Let's just say like a right-hander.
Well, Desmond Jennings.
He only plays left.
Well, Steve Kearse, he also...
he hasn't played outfield yet.
Out there. You know, I just enjoyed...
This interview's done.
There you go, guys. Souza Jr., a good interviewer, except for with the microphone positioning, guys.
Yeah, and a little practice will correct that. He'll be fine. And there they are, talking it over. Well, it's been a battle all night here for the Rays to keep this Seattle ball club in check. Gave up a run in the 3rd, a run in the 5th. The Mariners have had opportunities galore. And another opportunity here as Steve Geltz is on to try to thwart this one.
Well, he's on for the 11th time and has worked 9 1/3 innings. Opponent's average of 182. And a tough spot here. I mean, this has been the story of the night for the Rays pitching staff. Working out of the stretch, tons of runners on base. And 2 more on base, and you're coming up through the heart of the order, and Marte's already had a nice night.
Well, here you go, Marte, switch hitting infielder. 2 doubles and an infield hit.
And I don't blame Kevin Cash saying, listen, he's been wearing us out right-handed. Let's switch him around and get him up there left-handed.
Deep into right center. That ball has great carry and is gone. Marte 4 for 4 has just unloaded a 3-run home run to make it 5-2 Seattle.
Maybe he should have stayed with Evelyn and let him hit right-handed. My goodness, what a night for KETEL. Marte wastes no time, 1 pitch, and right into it. Well, this kid can play.
Martell hitting his first home run of the year, and there was little doubt about that one upon contact. A 4-hit night for KETEL Marte. Two and 0 the count to Robinson Cano. So 2 runs charged to Evelyn on the 2 walks. And the other run on the home run charged to Geltz. Three and 0. Three and 1. Well, we'd heard a lot about Marte coming into this series, and boy, has he delivered for Seattle tonight. 22-year-old infielder. Cano sends a towering fly ball to left. Geyer makes the catch for the first out of the inning.
Now the Rays have been walking the tightrope the entire ball game, and it finally bit them there in the 6th. And it hurts because it comes after back-to-back walks to start the inning, and then 1 swing of the bat and 3 runs come in.
Yeah, the one thing you really can't do in a close game is start walking people.
Well, that's something the Rays typically avoid. Just tempted fate a little one too many times here tonight. But you know what? Still got some baseball left to play. 3 more cracks.
Strike the count. Cruz fouling the breaking ball back. And there's a pitch on the corner. 0-2. Cutting the miss, stayed away from Cruz and got him on that one.
Well, that's been the theme here with Cruz. They've stayed away from him. They've shown him some off speed, but they've stayed really with the fastball. And a couple different times tonight, they've been able to overpower him.
Two outs, bases empty. 3 runs home in the 6th. Here's Franklin Gutierrez. He is 0 for 1 with a couple of bases on balls. Ahead in the count, 1-0 this time around. Swing, get a miss on the fastball. Here's the breaking pitch in for a strike. 1-2. There's Marte in the dugout for Seattle. Elks tried to shoot the corner with a fastball and missed a little wide. 2-2. Swing and a miss. So that takes care of the Mariners, but they strike the big blow, a 3-run home run by KETEL Marte.
lead heading to the 7th. More late night with the Rays featuring Kevin Kiermaier. Kiermaier leading off this inning, and we're just asking the basic question. Dispel the myth about what color your eyes are.
For all the people out there, my eyes are not blue. They are green. They have never been blue my whole life. They better not be blending in with this blue shirt I have on right now, but they are green. So let's clear that right now, okay?
There you go, guys. Right from Kevin himself. Back we go to Dwayne and Brian.
Thank you very much, Mr. Callis. We go to the 7th, and here is the green-eyed Kevin Kiermaier to lead it off against Felix Hernandez. The pitch is a breaking ball in at the knees for a strike. Kiermaier was at the plate when Geyer was picked off second by the catcher Iannetta. That into the top half of the 6th. And we'll see what the Rays can do here with Hernandez. The last few innings, the Rays have been able to bunch 4 hits together and a hit batter, a couple of home runs, accounting for their runs in those innings. And now it's 2-1. Seager in on the grass at third. The shift is on for Kiermaier. That's strike 2. Count square right now. Full count. Rays facing Felix Hernandez, 30 years old. 12 years here with Seattle. Making his 7th start of the year. Kiermaier sends a fly ball to center. Martin turns around, headed to the track, and just as he arrives, he makes the catch. So fly ball to deep center field, 1 away in the 7th.
Well, the Rays looking to make a move here. You know, Felix Hernandez, he's been good tonight, not great. A lot of deep counts, opportunities that the Rays have had. You've got 8 outs to play with. And you need 3 runs badly.
Well, Hank Conger is nothing out of 2.
Oh, yeah.
It's a strike.
That's been a big pitch tonight. We keep talking about it and going back to it, but he's continued to be sharp with it, the curveball.
Conger fouls a fastball out of play. Yeah, Hernandez has been able to get ahead with that breaking ball. Hey, there's a familiar figure now in a Mariner uniform, Joel Peralta. Line drive caught by the first baseman Lee.
Well, that was one of the few curveballs that really kind of hung. He went back to that pitch, left it out over the plate and up, and Conger hit it hard, but you've got that shift. A lot of fielders over there, and that one right at Lee.
This is Tim Beckham up for the 2nd time tonight after taking over at second base for Logan Forsythe.
Oh, yeah.
Check swing and a foul ball. Logan was hit by a pitch, hit in the back in the 3rd, and stayed in the game to run the bases, but left before play resumed in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and so Beckham is up there. Logan is 0 for 1 and hit by a pitch. Beckham struck out in the 5th. Bounces this one to Seager at 3rd and throw to 1st. So Beckham is out of there. The Rays are 3 up, 3 down. 7th inning stretch for Seattle. Matt Moore and Felix Hernandez were the starters in this game. Seattle got a run in the first. The Rays got one in the fourth on the Corey Dickerson home run. Another one in the fifth on a home run by Evan Longoria. But Seattle tied it in the fifth. Put up a 3 spot in the 6th inning. And it's 5-2 Seattle, with this game moving into the bottom of the 7th inning. Ketel Marte 4 for 4 tonight with 2 doubles, a single, and the 3-run home run in the 6th. Kyle Seager, who extended his hitting streak to 10 games with a 2nd inning base hit, leads off the 7th. 1 strike to count to him. He is 1 for 3.
Well, the Rays bullpen needs to come up big here and give the offense a chance. In this game, yeah, anything's possible. We've seen a little bit of everything, a lot of opportunities by both teams. You just got to hang in there and stay with it.
And hold them right here. Seager with a 1-1 count. Ionetta next, and then Lee is due. Two and 1. Fastball misses wide. Behind 3-1. Moves off the plate and up.
Tough counts to work in. Forces you back out over the plate with a hittable pitch to a guy that's got power, or you run the risk of the walk.
Foul back. The Mariners came into this game in first place in the West, coming off a road trip to Oakland and Houston. They swept Oakland. They won 3 straight there, and then divided a 4-game set down the middle with Houston for a 5-2 road trip.
Well, and they've played much better on the road than they have at home so far in the early part of this season. 13-6 on the road.
Yep, 2 under at home. So they've been on the road more and played better. Scott Service, the manager, and Edgar Martinez back as the hitting coach.
Probably has a few decent ideas.
It's a high pop. Will that be playable? It is, but the Rays cannot get there. What Conger traveled a long way, and with that shift, Longoria couldn't get on over there in time, and Conger went from the plate to the far end of the dugout after that one.
And you know what? I think that Evan Longoria could have gotten there, and I think he saw Hank Conger out of the corner of his eye and pulled up. You know, it's tough to communicate when you're not anywhere near each other, but watch Evan get over there, and then he starts to slow up right in here and kind of give way to Conger. He could have gotten that, but you know, you got a guy bearing down that is going into a slide, and you pull off.
Three-two, skied toward right center. Souza Jr. makes the grab on this one. So Seager's retired to start the bottom of the 7th. It's 4 in a row retired by Gelt since Marte greeted him with the home run. Ionetta walked his last time, 0 for 2 otherwise. Pulled off the fastball, a high fastball, and missed it. Foul. It's back into the stands. 2 strikes the count. Rays have 2 shots left, trying to hold the Mariners. One and 2. Drew Smiley and Wade Miley tomorrow night. 2 lefties. Matt Andriese coming off his major league debut for this year after 5 stints with the Rays last year, and yesterday picked up the victory and gave the Rays a great start. 7 innings of 1-run, 4-hit baseball, and then places himself right next to Drew Smiley. And why not?
He's been impressive to watch. Drew Smiley, I'm telling you, when the Rays made that trade and then tinkered with him just a little bit, really showed him the benefits of the elevated fastball, and he's really taken to that. And then the way that he mixes his pitches all around the zone, up, down, in, and out, well, he puts on a clinic.
The ball was headed out of play. So Drew will pitch tomorrow after his 2nd win. Wade Miley on the mound for Seattle. He is 2-2.
And he's left-handed, and that's always good for the Rays because they seem to have figured out. You remember a couple of years ago how they struggled against left-handed starters, but starting the 2015 season kind of have figured some things out and had success against lefties.
Iannetta sends a towering shot back into left. Geyer went back to the track and now comes in and makes the catch. Iannetta has hit some big fly balls tonight. They've all stayed in the ballpark.
Well, if he could hit him as far as he hits them high, he'd have a chance.
Yep. Bases empty, 2 outs. DAE-HO Lee. He's walked, singled, and lined to second. And has a base hit through the hole. He's a big guy, swings a big bat, gets it through into left.
And pays attention. He has seen Steve Geltz come after all these hitters, one fastball after the other. And he's like, why am I going to wait around? Be ready to hit and turn it loose. And here comes Kevin Cash, and here comes the change.
Martine due up. Back in a moment. Sound is brought to you by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. By Kubota. For more information, go to FloridaKubotaDealers.com. And by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Late night with the Rays from Safeco Field in Seattle. It's been a gorgeous night here, the mid-60s when this game started. We're down the bottom of the 7th inning. Mariners have a runner at first, 2 gone. Enny Romero on to face Martine. Liner into center field. Kiermaier is there. 1 pitch from Romero, and we're headed into the 8th. 5-2 Seattle. (5-2) Seattle. The Rays facing Felix Hernandez tonight, who gives his club 7 innings.
Well, the Rays had some opportunities against him, but you know, he mixed his pitches well. He gave up 2 home runs, something he very rarely ever does, but they were solo shots, and you can live with the solo shots. Other than that, mixed the changeup well, had a very good curveball here tonight, and ended up going 7 strong, giving up just the 2 earned runs, only striking out 4. But like we said, the stuff, the velocity, not quite there like it used to be, but boy, still effective.
And his teammates have supported him to give him this lead. And a familiar figure out there on the hill to Rays fans, Joel Peralta, now here in Seattle, about to make his 15th appearance.
Well, he's worked 12 2/3, more than a strikeout an inning, and an opponent's average of 159, so continuing to get it done.
Brad Miller will be the first man to face him. Back to third, foul, strike 1. Peralta, 39 years old, in 33 games with the Dodgers last year. Rays have Miller, Longoria, and Dickerson coming up. So 2 of the 3 left-handed hitters. And that's never really been a bother to Peralta. See that hand came off the bat there on that cut by Miller, and we've seen that before.
Yeah, that was in Anaheim. He took a swing and had to go back and get the rosin bag. I think that was yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, the bat wound up at the base of the screen. Yep. Inside, 1-2. Miller walked and stole a base back in the first inning. Walked in the third, grounded to third in the fifth. Foul out of play.
We know Peralta loves to go with that split with 2 strikes, fading down and away from the lefties.
Yeah, and that's why he's been so effective through the years against left-handed hitters.
Wasn't he the Rays version of the right-handed left?
Yep.
What they call that?
He was a right-handed lefty.
Yeah.
Reverse.
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
But I think every team looks at Peralta as a guy that, because of that changeup, can neutralize left-hand sticks.
And he gets Miller. Well, there's an example. 1 out in the 8th. And that gets us to Evan Longoria in the order. Time for the Yellowwood bringing the lumber. Evan hit a 3-2 pitch out to center field off Felix Hernandez. Evan's first extra base hit in his career against Felix Hernandez. Home run number 6 on the year for Evan. A couple more home runs for the Rays tonight. They have 41 for the year.
Well, and again, both runs scored by the Rays off of the home run. That continues that trend of such a high percent, at least relative to where they've been in the past and even compared to other teams in the game. So many runs coming off of the home run, which is good if you're finding other ways to score too, but that's not what we're seeing.
And if you're finding ways to get men on base in front of those home runs. 2 solo home runs tonight. Listen, they tough to do against Hernandez.
Yeah, well, but you know what? They did have some base runners. You know, that's the thing. He's a pitcher, though, at that elite level that can dial it up a notch with runners on and get really nasty. But even so, you know, so many, you know, runs coming via the home run. And while the percentage of runs scored compared to last year is so much higher, you know, they were coming into play yesterday on pace to score 572 runs. Now, they scored 644 last year, and it was a disappointing year. They're on a pace for 70 fewer runs this year.
And you can see the percentage of runs via the home run. The rate is 2nd.
Yeah.
But again, you need people on base.
You need people on base, and you need to find a way to manufacture runs. The problem with the Rays is not the fact that they're getting a lot of runs with the home run. It's the number of times we see them with runners in scoring position with less than 2 outs, runner at third with nobody out, runner at second with nobody out, and they don't move them, and they don't get them in. Those are the ones that hurt.
And here's Corey Dickerson. Dickerson homered in the 4th. We're in the 8th. 5 outs left for the Rays against the Seattle bullpen now. Dickerson fouls it, big cut right there.
That may be the biggest one of the year. I mean, he looked angry on this swing. Well, as a pitcher, you're saying to yourself, I better get the ball to the corner and get it there right now.
Takes the ball. 1-1. Big night for that young man. KETEL Marte, a 4-hit night. Fly ball center field. Skied out there, but not overly deep. Off speed, had him out in front. 2 outs with Longoria at first. And Steven Souza Jr. is on his way to the plate. Now, just to give you an idea of the difference for Peralta, last year lefty-righty. He's a right-hander, but that changeup so effective. Slugging percentage against him by right-handed hitters was .538. Left-handed hitters .313. Souza swings through it, strike one.
Yeah, you don't see that very often. I mean, from any right-hander to have that big of a disparity to the opposite side.
He's ahead of Souza Jr., 0-2.
Well, two pitches in the zone, and you would expect Peralta to try to widen that zone here.
And Souza waves and misses. A walk and a man left. The bottom of the 8th coming. 5-2 Seattle. Coming in to hit in the bottom of the 8th of this game. Coming up on Rays Live postgame presented by Checkers. We'll anchor the coverage. Big night by the young Seattle shortstop. We'll hear from Kevin Cash at his press conference after the game, and Todd Callis providing interviews from the clubhouse. First pitch from Manny Romero is fouled by AOKI. AOKI's been on twice with a base hit, an infield single in the first. He walked in the 6th. That came in front of the Marte home run. Ketel Marte will follow. Back to the hill, and with that big reach, Romero gloves it and throws him out. And Marte heads to the plate. Cricket Wireless, something to smile about for the Mariners. A double in the first, double in the 3rd, single in the 5th, and a home run in the 6th inning. The switch hitting young shortstop has had an unbelievable night.
And he's getting a standing ovation here in his latest at-bat.
Marte chops it foul, strike one.
tell you what's encouraging right here is Andy Romero filling up the strike zone. That outing, that last outing that he had, where he had trouble finding the zone, was spiking fastballs straight into the dirt.
Ahead of Marte, 0-2. Ground ball, short. Miller's long throw, and it's scooped by Morrison. Marte is retired for the first time tonight. And the Seattle crowd gives him a hand as he heads back to the dugout. He's just 22 years old. May is Mental Health Month, and Fox Sports Support's proud to team up with NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and their commitment to improving the lives of families and those affected by mental health conditions. Learn more about how to be stigma-free and visit foxsportsupports.com. Robinson Cano waves through the first pitch for a strike. Skied the other way, out of play. 2 strikes. Morrison, Geyer, and Kiermaier due to be up in the 9th inning for the Rays. Brandon Webb loosening for the Rays. Cano fouls it back a third. That ball's going to be out of play. Well, a couple of right-handers. Cishek, the closer. Vincent, depending upon the score of the game, whether he would be in there or not. Strike 3 call. Well, an all-strike inning for Romero. We go to the 9th, 5-2 Seattle. Telecast tomorrow, the middle game of this series, featuring Drew Smiley on the hill. Our coverage begins at 9:30. Drew, over his last 5 starts, an ERA under 2 as he continues to be a model of consistency for the Rays on the mound. And now pitching for Seattle, Steve Cishek, their closer, makes his 15th appearance.
You know, a couple of years ago, 13-14 with the Miami Marlins, was 73 out of 79 with saves. Lost his job last year ended up getting traded to St. Louis. And comes over to Seattle, has regained that job here with the Mariners, and so far so good, 9 out of 10. And he's got the full 3-run lead here to work with in the 9th.
Logan Morrison will open it here in the 9th. First pitch inside. Logan had a base hit in the 4th, 1 for 3 tonight. Foul back, 1-1.
Obviously a deceptive delivery by Cishek, and he's one of the few guys that can go down there sidewinder style and get velocity. See a lot of guys do that, not quite with the velocity that he can come with, 92, 93 miles an hour.
It's 2-1. Brandon Geyer on deck. Ground ball right side, and CANO over in the hole with the shift is there. It's the first out in the top of the 9th. Seven for Hernandez, 1 inning for Peralta, and now Steve Cishek. Strike. Geyer hit by a pitch in the 4th. He doubled in the 6th and was picked off to end that inning. Check quickly ahead of him. 0-2. Boy, that pitch just kept running away. 7th strikeout for Seattle pitching tonight. Cishek picks up his first and out number 2 in the 9th.
Manuel Domingos is not his name. It's Steve Cishek.
Kevin Kiermaier takes the pitch low.
Get Todd on it. Find out the significance.
One and one. Upstairs, 2-1. It'll be one of Todd's assignments for tomorrow.
I think so. I mean, you know, he's getting ready to go into the clubhouse for interviews. We get a lot of sound for the big show tonight.
Rays live the post game coming your way. Call. This game is over. 3 up, 3 down go the Rays in the 9th. And the Seattle Mariners take the first game of this series, and in so doing, snap the 4-game winning streak for the Rays, who drop back to 500 at 15-15. And here's the final pitch of the game.
Yeah, and you know what? Listen, it may have been an inevitable outcome, but Kevin Kiermaier is right. That ball was off the plate. No doubt about it. Trip Gibson gets caught up in the excitement here at Safeco Field and rings him up on a ball that was clearly off.
So it's a 5-2 final. For Brian Anderson, Todd Callis, and the rest of our crew, Dwayne Stats. Hope you've enjoyed the telecast. If not, the outcome. Rays Live, the postgame comes your way next. We'll be with you tomorrow night at 9:30 from Seattle.